guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new here, my name is Nicole and it's so nice to meet you. Today I'm going to be doing my August TBR, so if that's something you're interested in hearing about, then just keep on watching. So for the month of August, I have 12 books in my TBR, and I really don't know how realistic it is, especially considering that I'm not participating as of now in any readathons. However, I'm going to be working from home still and quarantining, so I'm hoping that's enough of an excuse for me to get through all these books. The first book is Heart of the Moors by Holly Black. For those of you who don't know, this is based off of the Disney Maleficent movie and is supposed to summarize what happened between the first and second movies. Maleficent, as I'm sure you guys know, is the main antagonist in the classic Sleeping Beauty. However, this Maleficent movie kind of series offers her point of view and story, which in my opinion, I think is more interesting. I haven't seen the second movie yet, but I'm hoping to get this book out of the way as fast as possible so that I can transition gracefully from the first movie to the next. I loved the first Maleficent movie, and I'm really excited to see what the book has to offer. The second book is Crazy Rich Girlfriend by Kwan, which is the second book of the Crazy Rich Asians trilogy. I was a huge fan of the book and movie adaptation, and I'm really excited to read about how the main characters develop in this next installment. Crazy Rich Asians, if you guys are not familiar, is about a Taiwanese American named Rachel Chu who falls in love with a crazy rich Singaporean without realizing. The next book that I plan on reading is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. When I was younger, I would read a lot of classics like Little Women and The Secret Garden, and I was really never able to get into any of the more adult novels. Now that I'm older, I'm kind of hoping that I'm going to be able to get into it and enjoy it like a lot of people have. The next book that I plan on reading is Shadow Spell by Nora. Can I just say that I haven't heard of any of her books being mentioned on BookTube as of now? I could be wrong, so I'm sorry if you have mentioned her. I just haven't heard it from my favorite YouTubers. I just recently read the first book in the Cousins O'Dwyer trilogy, and I just love the author's writing and storytelling. So this series is about Ayana, who is a seemingly normal American girl who moves to Ireland to get in touch with her roots and her family. There's magic involved and romance and animals and astral projection, and I'm all for all of the above. I'm really excited to see how the sequel is, and I'm definitely interested in reading one of her 200 additional novels. The next book that I want to read is The Japanese Lover by Isabel Allende. I already talked about this in my July book haul, however, I'm just going to restate it. This is about a woman who begins a forbidden romance with her Japanese gardener's son in the midst of a war. I love my romance and I love history, so I'm excited to see how this book goes. The next book that I have on my TBR list is In Order to Live by Yeonmi Park. This is a nonfiction memoir about a woman who escapes from North Korea and her journey in doing so. That's pretty much all I know, but I've heard a lot about it and I'm really interested. I just recently started getting into memoirs and nonfiction books, so I'm really excited to learn more about Yeonmi's life. The next book on my August TBR is Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo. This is about two girls who find out that they're sisters when their father is killed in a plane crash, and they uncover his double life and families. This book is going to be in prose, which I think is really interesting and refreshing because I really do like poetry, but I haven't read any in a while, and especially none in a story mode. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this prose impacts me differently than if it were to be written in a summary version. The next book that I want to read is The Pig Scrolls by Paul Shipton. This is a book about a pig and its adventures. That's pretty much all I know as well. My boyfriend actually loaned me this book, and he really thought I was going to like it and recommended it to me. So I think it's going to be a really quick, wholesome read, and I'm excited to see. The next book that I want to read is Starfish by Akemi Bowman. This contemporary is about a half-Japanese teenager who suffers from social anxiety and her narcissistic mother in the midst of a college art school rejection. First off, I was attracted to the book because of the cover, because it was just so beautiful. But I've also heard so many great things about it, and I know that this is going to make my heart in the feels. The next book that I have on my August TBR is Merged by Kroepfl. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. This is a science fiction dystopian novel about a world where 7 of the most gifted teenagers will become novels, which are hosts of their mentors. And this is to advance human progress, but I'm guessing that there's going to be a dark side to this that's going to be uncovered in the book. Honestly, I haven't really delved into science fiction novels, partly because it hasn't really appealed to me. However, I think this will be a good kind of transition and dip in the water because it's dystopian and science fiction. So yeah, the last book that I want to read this month is East of Eden by John Steinbeck. This is a modern retelling of the Genesis in the Bible. There are two families in this book that mimic the actions of Cain and Abel as well as Adam and Eve, and this story takes place in the Salinas Valley in California. I once rented this book in high school and I got really into the first 100 pages, but then I think I had to return the book to the library because it was summer break. So I'm hoping that this book is going to be as good as I remember. Fingers crossed. So those are all the books that I hope to get to in the month of August. But honestly, I won't be really upset at myself if I don't get even half of these done. Like, it's all about having fun. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Feel free to hit the subscribe or like button. Let me know in the comments down below if you've read any of these books or plan on reading any of these books in the near future. I would love to buddy read or chit chat about them with you. Anyways, see you guys in the next video. Bye!